Today discussing the last 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, especially the chapter 18th chapter in which the modes are being talked about. So we see here in the screen, so this is upside banyan tree, which comes Purnamoolam Adhashakam Ashwatthokramakhyakhyan. So Krishna says in the 15th chapter that how this verse of how the Brahmaji is there at the root, Radha Krishna is there, and then the branches are there. And this is upside banyan tree. Now, if you see a Bargaka tree, Ashwatha tree, banyan tree, it has branches down coming, and the root is above, and the branches going downwards. So it's a tree which is the reflection of the original tree, which is the spiritual one. Now, within the tree, one beautiful thing is there is goodness, passion, and ignorance. Now, Devata, if you see Indra is there, the topmost branch. Indra is at the topmost branch. Human beings are in middle. And animals we are not able to see, the animals are downwards here. So this is Prahu of them, goodness, passion and ignorance. Goodness, passion and ignorance. So Brahma is at the top and Radha Krishna is the spiritual world. And the reflection of spiritual world is material world. And in material world, there are three modes. So generally, we see the progress of the person based upon his externals. What the ashram he is, what the mood he is. But actually, Krishna is talking in Bhagavad Gita a lot in terms of the three modes. Lord Krishna is talking in terms of three modes. So when we understand the knowledge of these three modes, life becomes very easy. Now Krishna again is speaking about the three modes in 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because Arjuna may say that if I perform action, it will entangle me. If I perform an action, it will entangle me. But Krishna is telling, no, all actions are not entangling. Action in mode of goodness is not entangling. And in fact, action in mode of goodness is liberating. Only action in mode of passion and ignorance are binding. And that's why Krishna starts telling what is the action and the components of action in goodness, passion and ignorance. So therefore this topic of the 18th chapter, which is the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita. There. This conclusion of Bhagavad Gita, renunciation, perfection of renunciation. So yesterday evening we saw how the first Krishna talks about which is better, renouncing the fruits or renouncing the work. So the conclusion is renouncing the fruits is better than renouncing the work. Then second Krishna concludes the 5 factors of action. How action happens. Arjuna, you are not the alone person responsible for action of fighting the war. You just are one of the 5 factors. And now Krishna talks about the impetus of action and the action itself. So the impetus for action is Jnanam Geyam Prigyata. The knowledge, the person who knows the knowledge and the object of knowledge, the goal of knowledge. And for the action, the 3 things are there. The karta, karma, kartari. The work done, the action, the person who is doing it, and the endeavor of the person. There. Now further, the 6 things are also in 3 modes. So Krishna finally talks about 6 things in 3 modes. There, in the 18th chapter. Now how it is relevant to our life? Because we are also dealing with karma. Whatever work we are doing. Now the same work can be entangling to us and the same work can be disentangling to us. Like you work and you can go back to Godhead, you work and you come back to this world again. So therefore the scriptures are talking how to work. Now in the first 6 chapters, Krishna was talking about you should work without desire for fruits. That was the first chapter of in the 2nd and 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Right? But there he did not do an analysis with the modes. In middle 6 chapters, Krishna is talking work and devotion for me. You fight, but you remember me. And the last 6 chapters, which is the part of Dhyana, Krishna is talking about what action is binding and which action is not binding. So Krishna is categorizing work based on the moods. Like yesterday, Chaitanya Champa was telling a very amazing point. Don't, for rising over the mental platform, rise with the mind. Now, why rise with the mind? The mind has two kinds of impressions. One is Varna impressions, one is Vasanas. So, you have to neglect the Vasanas and engage the Varnas. The Varna is Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Is the Varna. And now, when the Varna is engaged, now that Varna is also reflected in goodness, passion, and ignorance. So, here Arjuna's Varna is Kshatriya. But the same work of Kshatriya, he can do with the intelligence in mode of goodness, intelligence in mode of passion, intelligence in mode of ignorance. Same with knowledge in mode of goodness, ignorance, and passion. So, whatever we are doing, our intelligence, our knowledge, our conceptions, our determination, our happiness is all in three modes. So, while working, when we analyze these three modes, then we can rise above. So one of the thing, now if you see bhakti, one part we hear in the bhakti of Shivanand Sen's dog. What does Shivanand Sen dog has to do? Shivanand Sen has to just show mercy to that dog. And he was worried what happened to this dog because his servant had neglected to feed the dog and dog has run away. And Shivanand Sen was so worried ki what happened to this dog? This dog also has come to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's party. I should not leave him. Now, because of the concern of Shivanand Sen, when this dog reached to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when Shivanand Sen reached back, so he's seeing that this dog is delivered by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. So one place we'll talk about bhakti as a product of mercy. And now we talk about so much modes. Goodness, passion and ignorance. If it is a product of mercy, then why is so much analysis required? To know about our action and other things. Can anybody say? Bhakti is a path of grace. And then Bhagavad Gita is a bhakti literature. Then why Krishna is talking so much about the analysis of three modes? If it's a path of grace, why do you have to worry about all this? Yes, any answer? Yeah. Any answer? Is my audio not audible? Is voice is audible? Injury?
Yes, it's audible.
Okay. Yeah. Yes.
I can only think of, I don't know it's correct. When there is ignorance and when one identifies the ignorance, then the intelligence will tell me it should not be that way. So then bhakti will be coming, we should be moving up.
But what is this connection with mercy? See, one side you talk about bhakti is the path of grace, bhakti is path of mercy, but then why do so much do analysis between goodness, passion, and ignorance? It is a path of grace.
It's also aspect of endeavor.
Okay, it's an aspect of endeavor. To get mercy also we need to endeavor. Yes, something more?
It is a path of grace, but at our level where you have to overcome certain things, for that we need this.
It's a path of grace, but from our side?
Like on our level of practice, to overcome certain things.
This is a very, very nice point came from Shadul Prabhu. To get at mercy, we need to endeavor, and to endeavor, we need mode of goodness. See, in passion and ignorance, we commit offenses and we lose mercy. When we are in passion and ignorance, you will see there will be Vaishnava Prab. We will offend the devotees and we lose mercy. But when we learn to work in mode of goodness, we get the mercy of the devotees. While working in, see, we can't live without work, we have to work. And many times, when devotees start living with devotees, that's the time purification starts happening. So till the time we don't live with devotees, we are in illusion that we are pure devotees. Only when we start living with devotees, what happens? Modes interact. Prakriti Manani, Gune Karmani, Sarvasham. When devotees are in Guna, we are in Guna. So kya hoga? Fight, fight, no fight. So because of being in the gunas, we face a lot of problems. Even in family life, both husband and wife are devotees, but the modes are there. Passion, ignorance are there. They will fight with each other. Even in devotees living together, whatever life they are living, they will have some fighting tendencies, due to which apradhas will happen, and due to which we will lose mercy and steadiness will be lose in Krishna consciousness. But when we rise to goodness from passion and ignorance, the offenses becomes very less. And when the offenses become less, the opportunity to hold that mercy becomes very easy. Because through passion and ignorance, whatever mercy we gather, it leaks out. But by goodness, that mercy remains intact, and devotee feels a steadiness in his life. And that's why, on the component of action, when we realize with this information, what we are reading on the three modes, it can help us. Now you're feeling inquisitive, inspired to know about this knowledge of three modes? I think it's not yet, it's feeling inspired. Are you feeling inspired? Are you feeling eager to know about the three modes? I think little now they're feeling. Okay. So first Krishna talks about sort of 3, 6, now what things are spoken? The knowledge, jnana in 3 modes. So jnana in goodness, jnana in passion, and jnana in ignorance. So what is jnana in goodness? What is jnana in passion, and what is jnana in ignorance? It's a beautiful concept it is. How have you observed, when you read college books, when you read college books, after some time you start feeling little bored, lack of energy. But when you read spiritual books, you feel very energetic. How many of you feel that change? Yes, everyone is there.
Sometimes.
Opposite also.
Modes take over.
Modes take over. Ignorance comes both places. But when you read it attentively, if you read scriptural books, you feel very enthused, energetic. And when you read material books, you feel more passionate. Why? Because of all the subjects, physics, chemistry, everything is in mode of passion. Why? When you see the knowledge which see the different bodies, differentiation in body. This body is like this body is like this, is in mode of passion. It's a speculative knowledge. But knowledge, it sees the same Atma in all bodies. Means that Atma is of same nature in every body is in mode of goodness. Now, no other textbook except Bhagavad Gita and Srila Prabhupada books, we don't read about Atma. Isn't it? Except spiritual books. We read more about body. And when you read about the knowledge which is about body, brings the person in mode of passion. So the real perception, now jnana is used in the sense of perception here. So when you perceive the world, when we perceive the world with the knowledge of Atma, okay, that everywhere what this world is seeing, see, jnanina tattva darshina. That's clear. So to rise above the modes also means when we are seeing people, When we are seeing things, we see the connection with the Lord. When we see seeing the Atma in everybody, like generally we make friends and enemies. Ye अच्छा, ye बुरा. This is man, this is woman. So we go a lot of external distinguishes on the bodily platform. So when we perceive the world like this, then we come in mode of passion. And we get glamorized. If something very attractive, we get glamorized. But the Jnanina Tattadarshina, the person who's in knowledge, when he sees the same soul in all the bodies, whether it's a heroine, whether it's a Miss Universe, whether it's a Mr. India, the same soul is there in our body, then that time persons perceive the world in mode of goodness. So that is a jnana, the first thing. So when we perceive the world in passion, we cannot be in goodness, we will become passionate. But when we perceive the world with the knowledge of jnana and goodness, we remain in goodness. And what is jnana and ignorance? You think one kind of work is all in all. You think one kind of work as all in all. You see only one part and you see this is the full knowledge. Like Arjuna is convinced that I should not fight. He's seeing the body relationship to be all in all. He's not seeing the whole picture. And Arjuna is compassionate on the bodily platform. So he's perceiving that the body of my relatives will die. I should be compassionate. So this is jnana in goodness or passion. So Arjuna perceiving that I will kill Bhishma and Drona is in good and feeling compassion to the bodies of Bhishma and Drona is in jnana in mode of goodness or passion? Yeah, passion. And he's seeing his relationship, my relatives will die, seeing that as a whole picture is in jnana in mode of ignorance. So he's seeing one relationship and seeing the whole world with that relationship. But he is seeing that so many people will die on the battlefield. That is in mode of passion. And you see, my relatives will die, it's in mode of ignorance. And Krishna is trying to bring Arjuna in mode of goodness, see them as Atmas. And you are not able to. So Krishna therefore is speaking this, by which Arjuna is able to decide whether I should fight or not fight. So Arjuna is thinking that fighting the battle is in passion and ignorance, it will entangle. But Krishna is saying no. If you have the right consciousness in doing the action, you will not get entangled. And so in our life also, though yes, bhakti means we should do our service for pleasing the authority. We should do our service, for the pleasure of the Lord. Is it bhakti? But while doing bhakti also, we need to have a consciousness in mode of goodness. When we are dealing with devotees, when we are dealing with people, with what reason we are seeing? Are seeing on them on a bodily platform? Or are we seeing them beyond the bodily platform as a spirit soul part and parcel of Krishna? And that determines our jnana and perception in mode of goodness. And real spiritual advancement means we transcend it. And that is why the knowledge is very difficult for people who don't have right intelligence. But by doing bhakti also, the Lord awakens this jnana in the heart of a person, devotee. There, where he sees everybody as a part and parcel of Krishna by the process of bhakti. So now bhakti to become steady, we need to develop this consciousness. Because again, otherwise we deal people with envy. And Kapil Dev says, when you differentiate people based on bodily thing, I don't accept your bhakti. And there's a sign of a neophyte devotee. He see people based on their bodily differentiation. This is this guru disciple, this is this guru disciple. This is Christian, this is Hindu. All bodily designation or no? So if we differentiate between Hindu, ye Hindu hai, ye Christian hai, ye Muslim hai. So is that knowledge is in passion or goodness? Passion. Because again you're seeing the bodily differences in people. That all Muslims are bad, somebody will say. So again this is perceiving things in mode of passion or ignorance, seeing and only one part of the thing. So the real knowledge and goodness means we see the same spirit soul in all the bodies. And when you learn to see the world with that vision, we actually come in Sataguna. All our relationships also come in Sataguna. Same way, when devotees don't follow rules and regulations, we get very upset. Oh, is my volume is not proper? No, here. It's proper. Okay. Yeah. So now, we may sometimes too much worry about people's rules and regulations without seeing the sincerity of soul. The Jivatma's connection to Krishna. So we may upset a soul which could have otherwise taken bhakti very sincerely. Like his conditionings are on a bodily platform. The soul is always pure. And that's what Prabhupada saw the soul of the hippies, and Prabhupada could uplift that. But we will see people with their conditioning, which are on a bodily platform. And therefore will find difficult to uplift people. So after talking about jnana in three modes, now Krishna talked about work in three modes. Now this is something very important for us because we keep working. Those there. See, everybody is working, nobody can give up action. Even while working for Krishna also, we can be in three modes. Not only working for company, even working for Krishna, we can do work in three modes. So what is the sign of work in goodness is? You should ask this question: whatever service am I doing, and whatever seva I'm doing, or whatever office work am I doing? See the characteristics of it. It should be regulated. It should be done with detachment to fruits of action. Even service also. See, I'm doing my best, Krishna will take care of the rest. Do we have that thinking or not? Without like or dislike. तो ये सेवा करूँगा, ये नहीं करूँगा. Lecture giving is very nice, but doing vessel washing is very bad. Without likes or dislike. One is reading. Right? Taking care of children is easy, but taking care of parents is difficult. Like or dislike. So without that, person keep doing this work and with no desire for fruitive results. See now, both things look same, right? Done with detachment, with no desire for fruitive result. There's a difference. See, there's an attachment to work also. The work with attachment and with no desire for fruitive result for oneself. The one is not thinking himself the cause of action. Done with detachment means one is not thinking himself as the cause of action. And with no desire for fruitive result, when the results come, no, I don't want to enjoy it. I want to give it to Krishna. So such a work is a mode of goodness. And now apply in your office life, professional life, and apply in your seva. How much we follow this fourth thing? And if you actually see, I've heard the lectures of my spiritual master. Most of the time, when they talk about service attitude, many of the things will focus on this only. Don't hanker for credit. Because the moment you hanker for credit for a work, our karma comes in mode of passion. It becomes bhakti. Credit, or devotees will appreciate me. Devotee did not appreciate me for this seva. So what will happen? Our karma has become in passion. So without desire for credit for the work we do. Isn't karma in mode of passion? Without desire for fruit enjoying mentality. So one should think, whatever work am I doing, Krishna providing the fruits, and I should use the fruits for Krishna's service by doing the work there. And that's why you see your friend in company, you feel you are more passionate or your karmi friends are more passionate. Why? Why they are more passionate?
Because they are attached with the
Fruits, yes. So because, and that's why they get frustrated more when it's Abda will come. So in work, stress comes not due to work, due to the fruits of work. So to the degree we are attached to the fruits of work, to that degree there will be stress. Because passion means stress. Burnt out. There.
What is the difference between like what I like, what I don't like, and the nature of a devotee? Like some services, it suits his nature. So then, how it can be?
No, this is my duty. I've been told to do, I will do it. Whether I like or not, dislike.
Because in the Vedic time also the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, they will do like Brahmanical work because they
No,
like.
but in Brahminical work also there will be things which Brahmanas will not like going and begging. उसमें थोड़ा humble बनना पड़ता है. Brahmanas will not like, but still they do it. Like same way, Brahmacharis will not like doing book distribution, going in trains, distributing books, but they should do it. So without like or dislike.
Within a particular frame, like and dislike.
Within their dharma also they will think which they like, which they don't.
Like.
And in karma and passion, done with great labor. So whole corporate world is about karma in passion. And that's a passion is very much glorified. If in your lecture to new people you tell, no, don't be passionate, be goodness, maybe next time people will think to come to the class on that. So whole planet Earth currently is more predominantly mode of passion and ignorance. And some goodness is popping out. People wanting to know, So done with great labor, whole I asked. Done seeking to gratify one's desires. Now people cannot think. One Mataji actually asked a question. How can we work and not expect result? How it's possible? Outside people cannot think. Now how many we find difficulty to understand that work without results? You may not be able to do it, but at least understanding level, we understand. We work without results. But when it comes to practical application, it will be very difficult to do. Isn't it? But on a normal level, you see, the work without result is a common philosophy. We understand we should do it, and that's what is very good. But outside people, they cannot understand how people can work without expectation of result. That conception is not there only. When they do something, they want result out of it. And that's what the sign of great passion. Even outside people, if they're not working for result, you will see their behavior in mode of goodness. And even devotees, if they're too concerned about the result, you will see their behavior in mode of passion. So this knowledge is independent whether you are a devotee or non-devotee. If you are working for results, wanting to enjoy the fruits of work, we naturally go in mode of passion. And we wanted to give the results to Krishna, using Krishna's service, we naturally come in mode of goodness. Whatever ashrama you are in, and whatever means you are a devotee or a non-devotee. So this is a universal principle. And that's why the very time, the Brahmanas means they will only take charity. They will not work for results. Like even they do some work for somebody, they won't expect what person will give. When Brahmanas expecting results, what happens? They come in mode of passion. Panda log pakad lenge. See, people worry na panda log pakad lenge और ये पंडित आके यहाँ पे बस लोग भागते हैं बस जैसे लेके जल्दी से भाग जाओ कोई पंडित वगैरह ना पकड़े पहले गाइडलाइंस दिया जाता है देखो वहाँ पे पंडित जी वगैरह सब वो मांगेंगे पकड़ेंगे आपको आप भाग लेना वहाँ से So the moment you don't apply, your work come in mode of passion. So done seeking to gratify one's desires. And third is done with false ego. I am the doer. See, in the mode of goodness is done with detachment. I am not the doer. कौन करा रहा है? भगवान करा रहा है. But in mode of passion, done with false ego, कौन कर रहा है? मैं कर रहा हूँ. तुमने मेरा कहना कैसे नहीं माना? मैंने बोला था ऐसे करो और ऐसा नहीं किया. So immediately we get agitated when the person does the thing. And leads to bondage, and a karma and ignorance leads to bondage by yamdutas. Anubandhanam means person do sinful reactions. So then he is punished in hell in ignorance. Destructive, shayam, it will harmful for others. Now if you at any time you have to discriminate what is in goodness, what is in passion, what is ignorance, one general guidance. If it is harming to somebody, or belittling others, किसी को नीचा कर रहे हैं, that will be in mode of ignorance. If we want to satisfy our senses without harming others, it will be in mode of passion. And if you are doing something without motivation, it will be in goodness. And you are doing something for pleasing Krishna, it will be pure goodness. So that's how we can understand any given thing, how it, where it will lie, goodness, passion, and ignorance in general. Same way, we can see our own motives. If anywhere we are seeing motive is devotee ka bura ho jaye, or we are anyway thinking bad of somebody, it's a mode of ignorance. Or we are thinking bad of ourselves, that's also an ignorance, lamenting, unnecessary lamentation. अरे मैं ऐसा हूँ, मैं वैसा हूँ, वैसा हूँ. Person goes in depression, impression, in ignorance there. So when you are harming us or harming other people, this is mode of ignorance. And passion is we try to satisfy our senses and other senses. This is mode of passion because senses are born of mode of passion. And you want to have the nishkam karma yoga. Just do work for purification. कि करना है इसलिए करना है, duty. कुछ motive नहीं है, personal gain नहीं है. Then is in goodness. And when the Krishna becomes the central, it becomes in mode of pure. So that's how to identify anything we do. And harmful to self and others without considering consequences, anapekshya. It is it says anapekshya. Anapekshya means the without considering consequences and disregarding scriptures in illusion, mohat. Now, so the work in 3 modes. But now the worker also can be in 3 modes. Now, worker also can be in 3 modes. Let us see. It is quite similar, but the differentiation is the mood of the karta. So, detached. He is detached, mukta sangha. He is devoid of false ego. He is determined. He is enthusiastic. He is unwavering of success or failure. Oh Prabhu, I went for follow. Only very few boys come. Now I'm thinking better to change my service. No, I'm not fit for follow. Is in which mode? So then we see people will passionately do very effort, but when results will not come, we next time nahi karne. This determination in which mode? Passion. So attached to work, desire to enjoy results, greedy, envious, impure, subject to joy and sorrow. So of course, it's a combination of passion and ignorance. Passion is person will become very demotivated, lethargic, results don't come. Harsha and shoka. So his joy increases with results and his joy goes away when results don't come. That is a worker in mode of passion. Because his happiness depends on the results. One time it happened, I will give art of work, how we should do detached work. So it will look little boring to devotees. And devotees did a one-time program and they were expecting 200 people will come and only 15 people turned up. And they had cooked prasadam for 100 people and 15 people turned up. And next day again I gave art of work. He said very relevant it was. Art of work was very relevant. So here the same is greedy. Greedy means I want more and more result. Attached to work, desire to enjoy results, envious, impure, subject to joy and sorrow. Whereas a person in goodness is devoid of false ego. Who is doing it? Krishna is doing it. I'm just an instrument. Like you will hear devotees say, when you do work, you should think that all results depend upon me. There. But actually Krishna is not saying this. Krishna is saying devoid of false ego. That even while doing work also you depend on Krishna. That is worker in mode of goodness. There. Because if you're thinking everything depends upon me, then you cannot be devoid of false ego. But I understand I am only one of the 5 factors to do the work. There. So therefore again, if you see the 18th chapter further, Krishna talks about a pure devotee while depending upon me comes back home back to God. So this dependence upon the Lord not should be at a time of offering the fruits of work. Even while doing work also one should be dependent upon the Lord and one should put full endeavor to please the Lord. One should do full endeavor depending upon the Lord. The endeavor should be as if the work depends upon him. You got the point? But in that also there is a dependence upon the Lord. If there is no dependence upon the Lord, no dependence on the spiritual master, then what happens? We go into false ego. कि I am the doer. मेरी वजह से सब कुछ हो रहा है. And that causes passion. Even in the services we are doing, we should analyze these things. Am I doing service in mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance? So when we are doing services also, you will find the fights will happen due to not understanding these things. And they will say, "Arey, duty se aisa ho gaya." Kyun? Arey, we only ourselves have a false ego, right? We ourselves only had a false ego. How it will work? And worker in mode of karta and ignorance acts against the scriptures. See, this is a little tough part, technical tough part of Bhagavad Gita, right? Some parts are enjoyable, but some parts are of jnana. It's a more application based, where you have to contemplate ki how our work is. But if you peacefully analyze, peacefully contemplate it, what happens? We actually find our faults. Because most of the time we do faults with our mind, but they remain undetected, and we think the other devotees are at fault. But when you know those things, you understand, I am not acting rightly, and that's why the devotees are behaving like this. So karta and ignorance acts against the scriptures. Materialistic and whimsical, obstinate, cheating, expert in insulting others. So when I read this, I understood I am a karta in mode of ignorance. When every service you do, Prabhu ये नहीं करता है, ये किसी काम कर लेंगे. If that comes to you when you are doing some work or service, टीचर को अच्छे से पढ़ाना नहीं आता है. That is worker in mode of which mode? When you keep blaming people around. If some work is not happening, the person who is a habit of mode of ignorance, he will keep blaming everyone around. That's a sign he's in mode of ignorance. Person in passion will do great hard work to enjoy the fruits. Person in goodness, devoid of false ego. He's equal, success and failure. But person in procrastination. प्रभु जी कल कर देंगे, परसों कर देंगे, and last moment also सेवा हुआ ही नहीं है. And especially devotees who sleep in chanting, you will find you can't depend upon them in. So the last moment they will forget the thing is there. So it reflects. See, whatever mode we do our service, it will reflect in our chanting. Whatever we do chanting will reflect in our work, because the modes are predominating us. And more, if we can do analysis of these modes, we can understand our personality and change our personality. Because our personality is based on these three modes. So Sabhava is based on these three modes. So in this mode, some things are changeable, some things are not changeable. Like the one of a person may not be so easily changeable, but the negativities of a person is changeable. So here Krishna is talking about the things which are changeable, like working with false ego, work for greed, right? Procrastination. These things are changeable. But one's nature of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra is only changeable by the mercy of a spiritual master. Otherwise, they are not changeable. So therefore, when we understand about these three modes, we can change our nature. And this topic may look little typical because of the words which are used there, the terminology. And the more we become familiar with terminology, more it hits. If, for example, Chaitanya yesterday was talking about concept of absorption. If you know something and some concepts hit you and your impression rise above it, then what happens? Automatically absorption comes. So when we read a subject matter, we may feel boring because we may not have much knowledge about it, so nothing comes out, no response comes out from us while understanding the subject matter. But when we keep understanding and contemplating about some subject matter, it creates impressions of that subject matter. And whenever you hear about a subject matter, it will make you more interested. The impressions from within starts coming. Like initially people hear about Krishna, it doesn't produce interest unless they have heard from their previous life. But they keep repeatedly hearing about Krishna, then the spiritual impressions awaken. Spiritual impressions awaken. And even sometimes when people are hearing Krishna Katha first time also, it makes a lot of sense because that's the nature of the soul. If it touches the spiritual sound vibration, it awakens the soul and the soul starts taking interest in Krishna Katha. There. So those topics, though may look little boring, nahi samajh mein aa raha hai. But we keep hearing them. Then what happens? We start understanding them. And that's why the sequential study is good. Like we learn in level wise. So in the initial, that's why in preaching, first we should teach those subjects which people can understand, which they relate around their what those terminologies with which they relate. And slowly we should take them to unknown arena. But it directly in our preaching present an unknown arena to people get very much disappointed if we are feeling bored. So this is the art of presenting the Shastras. That you take the Shastric concept. See, concept everybody knows. Concept everybody can relate. Even a child can relate. Concept. But a terminology present the concept everybody may not able to understand. Like I'll ask Neil Madhav. You like laziness? No, you like it? No. You want to come out of it? Yes, that's what we're talking about. You like laziness? No. You don't like laziness. So that's what we're talking about. That don't be a worker in mode of ignorance who is lazy. Right? Do you like cheating? No. See, that's what we're discussing. Do you like insulting others, criticizing others? No, that's what we are discussing. Don't do it. So conceptually, even a child knows. But only when I talk big terms, they will start feeling little off in the class. Isn't it there? Or too much at a time, what I can grasp for. So teaching means you have to speak the known terminologies to people, and that way everybody, and the conceptions, unless people have heard the Mayavad conceptions, the conceptions are same for people there. Most of the conceptions are known because it's a pure knowledge of the soul. Now, you want to false very proud of your work, you get marks, you should show, देखो मैंने इतना बड़ा कर दिया. We do it, but should we do it? See? So conceptually, even a child knows. Yes, Anand. So you are in goodness now. देखो पापा सुन रहे हैं क्लास में पूछेंगे कि देखो अभी तुम गुडनेस में आए हैं. Okay, so now Krishna comes to buddhi in three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. Now, with respect to Arjuna, if Arjuna is in goodness, he should know what to be done and what not to be done. If Arjuna is in ignorance, he will think irreligion to be irreligion. What is thinking irreligion to be religion? Kinsman, attachment to kinsman. His thinking is religion, but it is irreligion. And he's thinking what to be irreligion, which is religion. So he's thinking irreligion to be religion and religion to be irreligion. So fighting war is religion. His thinking is irreligion. So he's a buddhi in mode of it perceives opposite. And you see modern day people, what they're doing. Whole buddhi is in mode of ignorance only. Previously, just a simple setup, you see. How many hospitals were there 100 years before in your village? Zero. You find 100 years before, how many hospitals were there in the village? Zero. But people were living or not living? हर गली में अभी हॉस्पिटल है, वो भी कम पड़ा. Why? Because life is tight. So first you talk about, you watch TV till 1 o'clock, no problem, light is there, TV is there. Get up morning 9 o'clock, eat fast food, no problem. And then go to doctor. It's in mode of. So first they will bring out, Safola, eat. this oil, the healthy oil, and now they will only start telling, hey, don't eat this oil. So what is wrong, they will see it as right, and right to be wrong. This is buddhi is in ignorance. And what is buddhi is in mode of passion? One cannot distinguish, one gets confused. In passion, one gets confused between religion and irreligion. Action to be done and not to be done. Now, buddhi in goodness is one knows what is to be done and not to be done, to be feared and not to be feared, binding and liberating. So very clearly you can see कि क्या करना चाहिए, क्या नहीं करना चाहिए. Is buddhi is a mode of goodness. So lead can get chaotic. That's why we should get buddhi from where? Guru, sadhu and shastra. Because there's a transcendental intelligence. And when we get that buddhi in mode of goodness, whatever work we do in life, that also becomes very proper. It gives the proper results and proper direction. What is liberating? What is binding? What action is liberating? What action is binding? So that vichar should be there in the life of Buddha. The same way, determination in three modes. So yesterday you heard that jnana, buddhi and dhriti. What is the difference? By jnana we perceive things. By jnana we perceive things. By buddhi we analyze and decide things. And by dhriti we execute what decision we have made. Suppose Neil Madhav had an exam tomorrow. Right? And nice movies come. Or some nice party is there. So he's perceiving that there is a party. But this is jnana, he perceives that there is a party coming. Now he makes a decision using his buddhi. No, exam is there, let me stay there. But after deciding also, if the dhriti is not strong, they think, then his friend will come, come to party. Then what will happen? We'll go to party. Because determination is not strong to execute what we have decided. So that's how the three things works in our life. Jnana, buddhi and dhriti. So therefore dhriti in goodness is unbreakable. Sustain the yoga practice, controls the activity of mind, life and senses. So person determination is good when a person is in mode of goodness. The dhriti in passion, desiring fruitive results in religion, economic development and sense gratification in the association of similar people. Economic development. So today's determination is in mode of passion because it's for economic development. And dhriti in ignorances cannot go beyond dreaming, fearfulness, lamentation, moroseness and illusion. And at last, Krishna talks about happiness in three modes. Sukham. Now this is very nice. And Prabhupada gives a very nice example of Sukham. So let us read from Prabhupada purports this. Yes. Yat tat agare visham iva pariname amritopuna. It looks nectar in the beginning. Like getting up early morning is nectar or poison. It looks poison, visham. So getting early morning is poison or nectar? Poison, right? Getting up morning. But pariname amritopam. When you come for Mangal Aarti, is it nectar or poison?
Nectar.
So that is Sukham in mode of goodness. When endeavor is looking at it, like सुबह जल्दी उठना बड़ा मुश्किल काम है. But when you come to temple, you come to Mangal Aarti, it leads to happiness in mode of goodness. Same with chanting. Initially, 10 minutes कौन बैठेगा? Who will chant one round? है ना? So it's in Visham initially. But when you chant, you feel very happy. You don't feel happy. Okay, you are coming to goodness. But it's making you happy. Without your grasping, yes. See, the endeavor is there, but it's making you happy. This is a matter of time. See, something you will get immediately, something you will get over a period of 1 year, 2 years if you keep doing. Then you feel happy while chanting. So, pariname amrito upmanam. Tas sukham sadrikam proktam atmabuddhi prasadajam. So, it looked little difficult, but at the end it is becomes happy. So, it's poison in the beginning, but at the end it's just like nectar, which awakens one to self-realization is said to be happiness and mode of goodness. But one beauty of this nectar is it's poison only for delta x time, but it's happiness for amritam for x into infinity. That equation we should apply. For little time you do, it says poison for delta x time. But once you get this happiness, because the eternal happiness by coming in goodness, in pure goodness, especially the bhakti activities. So it is happiness x into infinity. That's the beauty of happiness in mode of goodness. Now what is happiness in mode of passion? Vishya Indriya Samyogat. It is due to the contact of sense and the sense objects. Yat tad agre amritoktamam. So initially it is amrit. And pariname vishamiva. And what is the parinam? Vishya. Tas sukham rajasam smritam. That sukha is happiness in mode of passion. So that happiness is derived from the contact of senses with their objects and which appear like nectar at first but poison at the end is said to be the nature of passion. And Prabhu give example. A young man and a young woman meet and the senses driving the boy to see her, to touch her and to have sexual intercourse. In the beginning this may be very pleasing to the senses, but at the end or after some time it becomes just like poison. They separated or there is divorce, there is lamentation, there is sorrow, etc. Such happiness is always in the mode of passion. Happiness derived from a combination of the senses and sense objects is always a cause of distress and it should be avoided by all means. So initially it will look like nectar, then eventually is it poison. So initially boys get, and many boys come nowadays, we want to commit suicide. We want to commit suicide because girlfriend chhod ke bhag gayi. And very difficult to handle. Whatever philosophy you speak doesn't go. And it happened also, one boy came to one devotee, Prabhu, I want to commit suicide. My girlfriend has gone away. So that boy, usko itna philosophy bata raha, you are not this body, you are spirit soul, what is the goal of life? Nothing was entering because he was emotionally disturbed. Then okay, chant for 1 week. So he chanted for 1 week, gave up the desire for suicide. So initially it began with a amritam, but later will lead to poison. So the happiness which is of the senses. Same way, you drink amras, 1 glass, 2 glass, 3 glass, 4 glass, is amritam. But what is the result of that amritam? Dysentery in the night. It happened also. Some brahmacharis, some brahmacharis were going in the train, and congregation devotees they brought amras. So some brahmacharis drank 1 glass, 2 glass, 3 glass. And हम लोग devotees से कैसे बोले कि इतना मत तो नुकसान देगा. But devotees drank, they were hungry and there, and they came back to the temple. And after they came back to the temple, night dysentery started. One devotee had blood also coming out to the degree. And the next day they called the doctor. And doctor told the entire, tell them something, they should learn some sense control. In the NOI class, they only told, Diva Begum. So, what happened is, looks in mode of Amritam, Amras, becomes poison at the end. So this is happiness in mode of passion. So what senses takes away? Initially it will look very pleasurable. It gives thrills, but then it gives ills, pills, bills, wills. Yat agre chanu bandecha sukam mohanam atmanam nidra alasya pramodantam tat tamasam dhanitam. And that happiness which is blind to self-realization, which is delusion from beginning to end, and which arises from sleep, laziness and illusion is said to be the nature of. So, beginning में भी delusion, बाद में भी delusion, and sleep, laziness and illusion. For example, sleep. ना तो सोते वक्त खुश होते हैं ना उठने के बाद खुश होते हैं. If somebody sleeps extra 12 hours, then back will start paining after sleeping. So in beginning also went in whole delusion, afterwards also delusion. Drinking. By drinking also one is delusion, after that also one is delusion. So there is no happiness either in the beginning or in the end. So for the person in mode of passion, there might be some ephemeral happiness in the beginning and the end of distress. But see, happiness delta x होता है, but distress x into बहुत ज़्यादा होता है. It's not infinity, but it is quite more there. So the happiness is less only, distress is always more. But for the mode of ignorance, there is only distress both in the beginning and at the end. There is no being existing either here or among the demigods in the higher planet system which is freed from these three modes born of material nature. Krishna is nobody is free. And then Krishna comes to Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So I hope you have digested this technical class. I tried to give more examples to follow it, but I know this is the most technical section of Bhagavad Gita. Because there are more technical sections, but you can explain it more nicely. But this is like more analytical. So you have to analyze. Maybe you have to make in form of a form. You have to fill it. You find out your goodness factor, ignorance factor, that mode index. Then we can know. But to a degree, we know these things in our mind. See how these factors affect. We can actually rise to Satoguna in while work we are. And when you follow morning program very strictly, you see automatically those components start coming. See, somebody has a fruity mentality, he cannot come to morning program. He's saying, let me work in office and earn more money. And then he's not able to get up morning. So when you come in the morning program, fruity mentality automatically goes away. Because morning program, what he will get, what money will you get? Nothing. So the moment we do spiritual activities, we become non-fruitive. So we are developing mode of goodness. And plus it burns our negative vasanas in the mind, lust, anger and greed. So whatever troubles in the mind, they goes away automatically. So strict morning program is a very simple formula to come in mode of goodness. To come in Mangal Aarati, to chant our rounds attentively, to hear Shrimad Bhagavatam. So automatically this bhakti is so powerful, brings a person in Satoguna. But why this analysis is required? That during the day also, if we live our life Satoguna, then performing our morning program will become easy. So during morning program also, we can be very there. Otherwise, क्या हो गया? कुछ झगड़ा हो गया. Then we carry it in the morning program next day. There. So therefore, knowing this knowledge of the modes is important. Because we should also develop some amount of jnana to make our bhakti stable. So jnana is supporting bhakti. This is the purpose. Okay, any questions? Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, you said about this work in three modes and worker in three modes.
What is the difference?
So you said this related a bit. So in that, you say in olden days, the work itself was in work was also in three modes, agriculture, all that and all. So is it that present day work cannot be in three modes, but the work cannot be in goodness, but worker can be in goodness? Is it like that?
No, both can be in goodness. See how? If you see the discrimination here, what it is talking about, you just see the characteristics. It is regulated, without like or dislike, with no desire for fruitive results. Yes, what you say to some extent is true also. Because in corporate life, you cannot say without, with no desire for fruitive result. Unless you show the result, they won't give you salary. There. But you don't desire to enjoy the fruits. You give fruits to Krishna. Same way, you can make it a regulated. Have a production industry rather than a support industry. In the production industry, there is a regulated work. Morning 9 to 5 job. So then it's regulated. And do your work 8 hours very nicely. Then done with detachment. depending on Krishna. You start with prayers, your work. Lord, you are the doer, whatever intelligence you will give, with that I will do my work. Then without like or dislike, whatever work comes in the office, do it. Not that ये work अच्छा लगता है, ये अच्छा नहीं लगता. What we like, we do it immediately. What we don't dislike, we postpone it, procrastinate it. So whatever work is coming in the office, do it nicely. So can you follow these 4 things or not? So then work comes in goodness. So you have to take a job which is regulated job. Same way, worker in goodness, detached, devoid of false ego, determined, enthusiastic, unwavering in success or failure.
Then one more. So here, actually, from continuation from yesterday's class, you said about this tyaga and initiation, like renouncing the work and renouncing the fruits of the work. So, but now if you see at the end of Bhagavad Gita where Bhagavatam starts, now there most of the examples are where they have given the work only, like Anga Maharaj. So,
Yeah, so they came at a one process stage, if you see. Like Parikshit did the whole life, the seva of being the king. And when death is coming, he's leaving it. Pandavas, for 36 years they ruled. They were around 150 years, 160 years. So that time they are renouncing. So there's an age for renunciation.
but
Vanprastha age. And that's what the examples are given in Bhagavatam.
but the lesson from that is
Lesson is what?
context of the lesson from that. Like in that purport, Anga Maharaj Prabhupada writes that if one gets frustrated with his dependent, so he can easily renounce. So that is the like that.
See, one thing is the purpose of Vedic culture is renunciation. That we should understand. The whole purpose of Vedic culture, systematic Vedic culture, is renunciation. And that's why sannyasi is very much respected in the society. Renunciation is the goal. See, why the living entities come in this world? Because they have material desires. So now why there are different ashramas? While fulfilling those material desires, slowly you get purified the desire to enjoy. See, when Shastras are talking, the goal is renunciation, they are not talking about the physical renunciation. You able to understand? Because somebody may physically renounce, but he has not given up the desire to renounce. He will be miserable in renunciation. So when Shastras talk about the goal of renunciation, they talk about the goal of renouncing the material desires. So the whole process of varnashrama is, while taking a person through fulfilling material desires, he should become renounced from enjoying those desires. So when a person comes where he is no longer renounced, no longer material desire, that point is very much glorified in the Shastras. And whole training of brahmachari, grasta, vanprastha, sannyas is to come to the level where a person no longer wants to enjoy this material. And that is the goal of all Vedic sciences. The goal is not just people become a sannyasi. You understand? The goal is people give up the desire to enjoy. And when the Jivatma has come to that point, that he has no more desire to enjoy, that's the success of that journey of the Jiva. Because then he can be fully engaged in Lord's service. And Prabhu says somebody is fully engaged in Lord's service, automatically has no desire to enjoy. Because he is enjoying the Lord's service so much. So therefore bhakti, if somebody is doing bhakti, there is no need of tapasya. Because engagement in devotional service itself giving a higher taste to a person there. So whenever it says, so out of frustration, person giving up desire to enjoy, and then goes and completely engage in the service of the Lord. So that is glorified. Now in case of Maharaj Anga, now what will happen with the kings? Whole life they will practice bhakti. Not they will live like metallers. Like Parikshit, whole life he live a life of a bhakti. And the right time came, he renounced. Same Anga Maharaj also, he was a devotee of the Lord. When the right time came, he said, now let me go to the forest and thing. So the whole life is practice is bhakti. So like Yati Maharaj, Yati what happened? No, he was enjoying his household life so that quickly he burned up his impressions of enjoyment and quickly he renounced. So the purpose behind his enjoyment also is renunciation. Same way Yadu. Yadu, the son of Yati, so Yadu said that I don't want to take old age. I don't want to give my young age. Because if young age is there, then I can enjoy it and then quickly give up the desire for enjoyment and quickly take renunciation and quickly achieve the supreme life. So if you see in Vedic life, even the path of Grihastha life is for renunciation. So Shastras are ultimately talking about renunciation. There. And then one has achieved the true renunciation, where one's desires are vanquished. That's the goal which is mentioned in the scriptures. But it may be happen in different ways for different people. Like somebody from childhood only has no desire, so he can directly go. But somebody has desire, he goes to the path of Grihastha ashram. And very properly in a one ashram we are enjoying all the desires, eventually person loses the desire to enjoy. And bhakti makes this process very fast. And in case of bhakti, one doesn't have to even give up. There, husband and wife together can be engaged in the service of the Lord. They're feeling a great happiness in their life. There. So does that understood?
Yes.
So many see that's the whole confusion Arjuna is thinking. Arjuna is thinking renunciation equivalent with giving up the world. But Krishna is telling renunciation means giving up the desires for enjoying the fruits. Desire for sense enjoyment. That is real renunciation. So again, Arjuna is bringing, Krishna is bringing Arjuna on that point, and Arjuna is again going to the other point. You able to understand this? So much of was happening. So whole Bhagavad Gita is bringing this point. Now Bhagavatam is an example of devotees who have perfected that. Throughout their life they have lived a life of karmi yoga. They're doing everything for the service of the Lord. And when they're perfected by that karma yoga, at the end they have developed renunciation. That is Srimad Bhagavatam talking about. So this is a neophyte mentality where we equate physical renunciation to renunciation of material desires. But the scriptures always talking about renunciation of material desires. That's the goal. Now it happens by giving up the objects of enjoyment or accepting the objects of enjoyment within regulation. So these are the two paths, Pravati Marg and Nivritti Marg in this scriptures.
Thank you.
तो बोलते हैं कि भगवान के दर्शन करने से उसका मुख टेंशन ये विफल हो गया जीव से प्रसाद खाने से बाकी चीजों को कैसे विनोद कैसे होते
नाग भगवान का सुनते ना इत्र तो सुनते हैं नाग उससे टच भक्तों के पैर छूने से सेंस ऑफ टच भक्तों के पैर छूने से और कौन सा बचा कान भगवान की कथा सुनने से कीर्तन सुनने से तो सारे सेंस हो जाएंगे 5 हो गए ना फिर जी और टच सब यस गुरुराज को क्वेश्चन
I think so, very nice plans. You explained it very nicely in all the modes of nature. One small question I have, we know Shudras are in mode of ignorance and Brahmanas mode of goodness and other varnas also.
But that is the next topic. Brahman, Vaishya, Kshatriya, Vaishnava. So now see there is a guna and karma. So the karma in the modes, but their guna they can rise.
Okay. But internally, the Shudra should also become like a Brahmana. He should come to mode of goodness.
Yes, everybody should come to goodness. But while doing their work. So work is in that mode, but the consciousness can rise beyond the modes. By
So
bhakti.
if consciousness is in the mode of goodness, then you would not be able to do a work which is in mode of ignorance. That means he also want to become a Brahmana.
No. It's not like that. See, this is the activity of a Brahmana, this is a guna of Brahmana. The activity of Brahmana is patan, pata, nidam, yajan, dan, panikriya. But a mode of Brahmana is like what is Krishna is talking about, the karma karta in mode of goodness. Like even a Brahmana could be insulting to others. Brahmana also could be insulting others, procrastinating. So that Brahmana is an activity, but in mode he is in ignorance.
Correct.
Same way, a Shudra may be doing a work of sweeping, but he may be very steady in success and failure. He has no desire for the remuneration, what is coming. He living the sea is satisfied in chanting Rama Govinda. So he is in mode of goodness, of pure goodness.
So probably then that Shudra is in mode of goodness internally, he will go back to God.
Yes, that's what the story says, na Narad Muni. That there was a cobbler and there was a Brahmana. And Brahmana was thinking, I will go. But Lord Narayan said, Brahmana will come after millions of lifetimes. But this cobbler will come in this lifetime to me. Because the cobbler is by bhakti had transcended the 3 months.
Yes, fine. Thank you, Prabhu. Thanks.
Yes, Prabhu. Last question.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. You were talking about Buddhi and Dhruti.
Buddhi and Dhriti.
So, if one wants to reach them quotient, then what one should be doing?
One should follow morning program very nicely. Chant the holy names nicely. And hear Srimad Bhagavatam regularly. Then Buddhi and Dhriti both will increase. So by chanting, our Dhriti increases. And by hearing scriptures, our Buddhi increases. Both Jnanam and Buddhi both increases by hearing scriptures. And by serving the spiritual master, all the three increases. Okay, so we end here. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai.